Hi, PerspectaWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Wednesday, January 15th, the middle part of January, and yet temperatures are likely to reach the 50-degree mark in the big cities of the I-95 corridor this afternoon, well above normal for this time of the year. That mild air mass, however, will be replaced by a much colder air mass later tomorrow. The cold blast will arrive with strong northwest winds on Thursday and Thursday night, gusting past 40 miles per hour or so in D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. By the time Friday rolls around, we'll struggle to reach the low and middle 30s in the big cities along the I-95 corridor. And high pressure will set up across southeastern Canada. And with a cold, dry air mass in place come early Saturday, precipitation will arrive most likely in the form of something frozen in the I-95 corridor region. That's precipitation from a low pressure area that will be headed towards the Great Lakes. It looks like snow and or ice may arrive in the early morning hours in the D.C. metro region and sometime during the morning as snow across Philadelphia and New York City. Can be some small accumulations of snow and ice at the onset in D.C. Maybe I'm thinking a coating to an inch or so, maybe in the 1 to 3 inch range at the onset on Saturday in places like Philadelphia and New York City. Not a significant snow event, as it looks like it will transition to a wintry mix and then to rain as that low pressure slides up to the north and west. Let's just kind of take a quick look at the big picture here as to what's going on and why we do not anticipate a major snow event on Saturday. We will have strong cold high pressure. This is one of the key factors I always look for a potential snow event in the I-95 corridor region. That will be setting up by Friday and sending cold, dry air down the eastern seaboard. And again, we will have a cold, dry air mass in place early Saturday, just at the time when the precipitation is likely to arrive from the west to the east. However, the low pressure area looks like it'll move from around Iowa to Michigan to the northern part of New England, and that is not a classic setup for snow in the urban areas along the I-95 corridor region. So despite nice cold high pressure positioning across southeastern Canada late Friday into Saturday, with the low pressure sliding up to the north and west, that pulls in somewhat milder air in the upper part of the atmosphere. You may start off as snow or ice, but eventually it changes over to a wintry mix and then to rain, and it looks like that's what will happen. Now, if you're upstate Pennsylvania, it is certainly possible that there'll be a quick thumping of snow, perhaps several inches of snow at the onset as that warmer air tries to push northward. But in the big cities of D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, not expecting a major event at this time. Well, let's walk through last night's zero-Z GFS model run. Well, first we'll look at the upper air features involved, and then we'll take a look at the surface map. First of all, starting off the day today, generally high pressure in control, and again, quite a nice day in terms of temperatures for this time of the year. We'll reach 50 to 55 degrees in the D.C., Philadelphia, New York City corridor with plenty of sunshine and relatively light winds. But then we'll move forward here. We'll notice that by tomorrow morning there'll be vigorous energy to our north and west, and that's associated with a strong low pressure system and a strong cold frontal system. That cold front actually slides through the I-95 corridor early in the day, and the winds will pick up noticeably by the middle of the day and for the afternoon, gusting between 40 and 50 miles per hour or so out of the northwest. Temperatures could actually peak in the morning and then slowly drop during the afternoon. It remains quite windy and turn quite cold tomorrow night, and then setting the stage for a cold end of the work week. By Friday, we'll have high pressure at the surface starting to develop over southeastern Canada, and temperatures will actually struggle to reach 30 degrees in places like New York City and Philadelphia, maybe a struggle to reach the mid-30s in D.C. on Friday afternoon for highs. Again, quite a cold and quite a dry air mass in place. You'll see the dew points dropping to quite low levels here. Then let's move forward here, and here comes the next wave of interest all the way across the Rockies by late Friday night. You notice it's kind of pushing to the north and east, and that is the reason why The surface low pressure area looks like it'll slide up to the north and west of the I-95 corridor region, from the upper Midwest to the Great Lakes, and then to New England. And with that kind of a storm track here, it should pull in enough milder air, especially aloft, for a changeover from frozen precipitation to rain at some point during this event in the immediate I-95 corridor region. Then by Sunday, it pretty much moves off to the north and east, and another cold, dry, windy day is setting up for Sunday to close out the weekend as another reinforcing shot of cold air arrives on the backside of departing low pressure. Well, let's now look at the surface forecast maps from last night's Zero-Z GFS model run. High pressure in control as we begin the day here at midweek. And again, we'll reach the 50-degree mark in the I-95 corridor region, and it'll be filled with sunshine today. Can be a shower associated with the strong cold front. And here we go, by tomorrow morning, that cold front comes through early in the day. Again, maybe a shower, but generally a dry cold frontal passage. And look at this pressure gradient as it strengthens here between the departing low and an approaching high. Winds will gust between 40 and 50 miles per hour, probably midday, afternoon tomorrow, and even going into tomorrow night. It'll be quite windy as this next cold shot arrives. And then that high pressure area builds into southeastern Canada. Here we are setting up for Friday. Friday, a cold day, much colder than what we'll experience today. Again, highs today generally between 50 and 55 degrees in the D.C., Philadelphia, New York City corridor. Probably between 30 and 35 degrees for Friday. And here comes that next wave of energy, producing the low pressure area over the Central Plains early on Friday. And watch what happens here. That high pressure sets up shop over southeastern Canada by very early Saturday morning. Not a bad position, however. If low pressure were to be sliding to our south and east, it could be a setup for a significant frozen precipitation event here. But with low pressure moving from Iowa to Michigan and then to the northern part of New England, enough warmer air should move in aloft for a changeover from frozen stuff to rain. Here we go by Saturday morning. Now, the quicker this precipitation arrives, the better the chance for some snow, some accumulating snow at the onset. The slower, the less the chance, because that cold air all this while will be slowly retreating to the north and east. But here's that low pressure system by Saturday morning. Still strong cold high to the north, and indeed it'll be a cold dry air mass in place that'll be somewhat reluctant to give up its ground. So snow could break out in D.C. early Saturday morning. If it's not snow, it should be sleet. And then the snow moves into Philadelphia during the morning hours and New York City. And so that is the time period for potential accumulations. Again, I'm thinking right now maybe 1 to 3 inches in and around Philly and New York City during the morning, midday hours on Saturday. Maybe a coating to an inch of snow and or ice in D.C. at the onset. Eventually it changes probably from snow to ice and then to rain. And here we go by late Saturday afternoon, early Saturday evening, probably plain rain in the I-95 corridor region. Still remaining cold enough for snow across New York State and New England, but there goes the low pressure area well to the north and west of the I-95 corridor region. That will help to cause that cold, dry air mass in place as we start the weekend to retreat to the north and east. And here we go then by late Saturday night, early Sunday morning. That low pressure area slides to the north and east. Another day filled with strong northwest winds, probably dry conditions, maybe a snow shower early in the day, a cold day, high temperatures generally in the 30s. And it looks cold next week. We'll have to monitor the possibility of a storm during the middle or latter part of next week. Nothing certain at this time, but it does look like, in general, a colder than normal week for the eastern part of the nation. So a relatively warm day today for the middle part of January, but much colder air arrives tomorrow on strong northwest winds, setting the stage for some kind of a wintry mess on Saturday. And then another cold, dry, windy day will follow for Sunday. That's it for now. For PerspectaWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.